God, please stop sending me
That's
this. Bitch, make
no,
me
God
mad.
ain't got nothing to do with it. No, God ain't got nothing to do with it. Please don't bring my God into this. I
Oh,
said,
okay.
why are you such a poor judge of character to why you keep picking men that you got to leave in the dirt?
You know why? Because they don't show their true colors until the relationship kind of
Oh,
ends.
okay. So again, it's not accountable to you. It's on them again. They're all the world. The men are out here just pulling tricks on women left and right.
They really are. These men out here are
That's
living
the
life
those are the only men that are out here that are single.
to me, everybody's single because even the niggas that's in relationships and
Well,
married, they
first of all, I
single.
don't. First of all, I don't deal with niggas.
Oh, sorry. Well, man.
Men and niggas aren't the same. So if you talk about men and niggas, that already tells me what one of the problems is already.
What you saying me, Kevin? Because I
Ratchet.
need a ratchet.
Oh,
This nigga, I mean, not nigga, Kevin, ratchet.
hello all, and welcome back to my channel, Red Femme Diaries. Okay, so I was in the process of putting together my next video on the Taliban. That's taken a long time, so I'm really breaking that down. But in the midst of that, this situation popped up, and let me explain to you. I feel very uncomfortable talking about this situation because I'm a woman. And this situation is between two men, and it's not my place as a woman to speak about the affairs of men. And so I had no desire, to speak about this at all. But then last night happened, and Kevin Samuel did his live stream on Dropping Dimes, and I'll be honest with you, it's just like, man, it's like I gotta talk about this. I will say this, my page, as you guys can kind of already see, I'm not really up on the current gossip, the current beefs, all these different things. I'm obviously late to the party here, so that's not my channel. So if you're looking for the current up-to-date things, that's not my channel. My channel, as some of you guys have known, I was minding my own business one day, went on Poor Man's podcast, called in one day just because the topic was interesting, and they said, oh, people want to hear what you have to say, so here I am. So I just want to make it clear, I don't even consider myself a YouTuber. I'm just a person here speaking because someone said that people want to hear this stuff, so I said okay. So me even speaking about these men and gentlemen in this situation is very uncomfortable because it's like it's not my place. However, this situation here to me is just so important to look at and dissect, and that's kind of what I do on my channel. I look at different situations, I just give my thoughts, and so this to me was an important enough situation to really, look at. So I'm very nervous, and like I said, I am not a professional at this. I work in healthcare. Being on YouTube and these things is not my forte, so just bear with me as I walk this down, okay? This video might take a little minute. Okay, so as I've gotten older, I've kind of like really started to get into like history a little bit more. I mean, history is just fascinating, history, and then also reading biographies and memoirs and things like that. And it's interesting that we know our history. And so some of you may know that back in the 1920s and 30s, we had what was called the Harlem Renaissance. And I'm going to read who is this? Well, I don't know. This is just, you Google it. And like now, a shout out to Kevin Samuels because he says now, back in the day, and I'm from his era, like we had the Dewey Decimal System. I'm not as old as him, but I know about the Dewey Decimal System. Now everything is at your fingertips. So if you want information, it's right here. So Harlem Renaissance between the 19th and 20s, it was a turning point, they said, in African American culture. So the Harlem Renaissance was an intellectual and cultural revival of African American music, dance, art, fashion, literature, theater, and politics centered in Harlem, Manhattan, New York City. Okay, I'm going to say it. I feel that we are going through an awakening of, at the very least, historic proportion. I'm going to call this the new Renaissance 2.0. Okay? It's biblical that in the end times, and I do believe we are most definitely in the end times, and if you don't see that, just log off. We definitely are. So we are in a time where we are literally seeing in real time a great divide. People now are choosing sides on so many different levels. I mean, now is a time where you are really seeing the real versus the fake. You know what I'm saying? Alphas versus betas, good versus evil, just versus the corrupt. When we are really seeing, you know, as my grandmother, rest her soul, God rest her soul, would say, things are getting exposed and things that were done in the dark are coming to the light. And we're in that time right now. And so that's why this particular situation, you know, is just so incredibly important. Okay, so I'm old. I was born in 1977. I'm 43, okay? So back when I was a kid, we had Scooby-Doo, and they've got that now, you know, it's like revamped. But back when I used to watch Scooby-Doo, and I don't know if you guys are fans of Scooby-Doo, I used to watch it before school, but in Scooby-Doo, it was a good cartoon, because what would happen, there would be some bad guy, you know, and he would be parading around and acting like a monster or something like that. And Shaggy, Scooby, Thelma, Daphne, all of them would, they would find the evil person out, and then they would reveal him. They would take off his mask, and they would expose that this supposed spirit, ghost, monster, whatever, was not real, and it was just some evil person, and they would expose him. And the bad guy would lose and the good guy would win. And it was a good cartoon. But it's like, I feel like in these times we're in right now, that's what's happening. People that we thought were like the good guys, the things to aspire after, the mask comes off, and we are starting to really see what people are really about. Side note, I used to watch Scooby-Doo when I was a kid, and the Scooby-Doo now, some of you guys know I have boys, young boys, and I would watch cartoons with my young one, and we watched the new Scooby-Doo, cartoons. Side note, trust me, I'm going to get back, but this is important. So now, instead of it being about the revealing of, the bad guy, now, and I might have these names slightly wrong, but Thelma, I think her name is, the one with the glasses, the little nerdy one, coming to find out like she's a lesbian now, and she's been going and wanting to get Daphne. And Daphne wants to get, I think his name is Fred, but I think Fred's a homosexual too. And it's just like, what? That's what was these agendas that are going on right now. They are perverting everything. And if what I'm saying right now sounds foreign to you, you are dead asleep. They are perverting everything. But that was a side note about Scooby-Doo. I'm sorry about that. I'm a woman, so sometimes I can't help but ramble. But anyway, I was saying that to talk about the revealing of the true nature of people. And that's what's happening now. And we are in a time where you're going to have to decide what you stand for and what you believe in, the things of this world, or are you going to go for the truth? So that being said, you have this man, Kevin Samuels, that seemed to have sprung out of nowhere, and here he is. And pretty much what he's done, he's brought the concepts of the manosphere into the mainstream. So the things that these manosphere men have been saying, like for years now, he brought it to where now, like, so many people are really opening their eyes. So with this particular situation that came up, I have to talk about it, and I have to present it because, in my opinion, they call his nickname is like the Godfather. And in my opinion, here's a situation where you have these two groups, these two sets of men, having this, I'm going to call it a battle. You know what I mean? It seems small, but it's really not. And he comes in kind of like as an alpha male, And he handles this situation with such grace and surgical precision. I was just like, man, I gotta share this on my channel. How can I not? So even though I'm not in a position to really talk about this as a female, I can at least point you guys to this story so that we can take a look and discover lessons that we can learn. Kevin Samuels handled this man beautifully. So for those of you that don't know what's really going on with this particular situation, I'm not gonna go into details about what's happening, because at this point there's so many videos online about it that just look it up on YouTube and you'll hear. But I will just give you a little bit of knowledge. Okay, so you have these two channels. Well, actually, now let me do it like this. I'm going to speak to you guys like as if you already know. Because if you don't know, just log... there goes Lily, I swear, every single time. So if you don't know what's happening, just log off and go look up the story and then come back. I'm going to just talk to you guys like as if you already know what's happening. So you got these two channels, Fresh and Fit, and you have Abba and Preach, okay? So, I got to be, very real. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm 43. I don't watch Fresh and Fit. I have no idea who they are. The only way I knew their name is because I know Kevin Samuel had went on their show, but that literally is the only reason why I know their name. And then I was going to say this, the reason why I don't know them, because when I did hear about them, there's a panel of a bunch of, young girls, it's two young guys and a couple of young girls. And like I said, been a wife and a mom. I've had my job for many years. Like, that's obviously not going to appeal to me. So that's why I have, no idea, about them. So I'm not even going to act like I know about them. I don't. However, oddly enough, I actually am subscribed to Abba and Preach. You say, like, why would, a middle-aged wife and mom listen to them? Because I think they have a very balanced perspective on things. I don't. I'm not even going to lie. My channel is very much to the right about most things. I'm not balanced. I'm one-sided. I'll be honest. However, I'm empathetic, and so I can understand the other side, but I'm definitely biased. But Abbott and Preach, they're definitely balanced, and so sometimes it frustrates me because it's like I don't like to hear the other side. I just want to hear my side, and so that's my fault. But that's not how they are. But they have a series called these Skippy videos about this guy, and I would recommend those videos because I've watched them myself. And anytime you're feeling bad, go watch one of the Skippy videos on Abba and Preach, and you will feel a little bit better about yourself. So anyway, so that's my understanding, of the two groups. So, okay, so the situation goes down. Like I said, I'm not going to go into details. Like I said, there's just too much information. It's going to make this video way too long if I go into the details. But essentially, there was a lot of disrespect on the side of this Fresh and Fit duo. Okay, and I'm going to show the videos here in just a couple minutes, just a portion. And one, like I said, you guys already know the story. You should anyway. So in one of the videos, I'm not going to play this part, but the Fresh and Fit, they disrespect the wife of Preach, right? They say some terrible things about her. So I'm not going to play that part. You can look it up yourselves because I don't want to, forward that some disrespect to the man's wife. So I'm not going to play that part, but I will play, just a portion of the things that these men from Fresh and Fit said. Very disrespectful, what I'm saying? Very disrespectful to the man's wife, ad hominem attacks, disrespecting this man's people, where he's from. It was just really bad, very disrespectful, a lot of boasting, bragging, no humility, lack of maturity. It was just a train wreck. It was terrible. And so I'm going to show those right now. Okay.
That was why.
We're trending, man.
Yeah.
We're popping right now.
But then I did, as always, men lie, women lie, numbers don't, right? And then I thought to myself, why would they bring this up now? Chris, can you show Exhibit A real fast? So let's see here. Let's see. These guys have almost 1 million more subs than us, guys. All right.
So we're the blue line.
We're the blue line. They're the red. They have 1.38, which is 1,380,000 subscribers. Guys, we only have 430,000 subscribers. Yep. Okay, we have literally like less than 1/3 of their joint, right? And we got 20 million views, and they got 14.9 million views. Ouch. Very interesting for you guys to go ahead and make a video insulting us months after the fact. I wonder why. Oh, it's because we're hotter than you guys right now.
All this talk about we make so much money, we're getting all these views, these guys are clout chasing. Bruv, when I came on your podcast was far smaller. I didn't care that you guys were a smaller podcast. I was like, cool. You guys seem to do some kind of interesting content. I'll just jump on. I'm not the type of nigga who looks at people and judges their value or their perception of me based off of how many followers they have or how many views they get. We cover people who are far larger than us and who have way bigger platforms, and we cover people with 100 subscribers. We don't come at people based off of the size of the following they have. We talk about ideas. If you think back about the video, when we said all that stuff about boxing this, it was on the topics. We didn't talk about Fresh's past. We didn't talk about him faking press releases. We didn't talk about you paying for box. We didn't talk about none of that shit. You guys are getting so hyper emotional about this thing. It's funny to me. For so-called alpha males, you guys don't seem to have any control over your temper.
Our channel's better than yours. Facts. We get more views than you. We've been on less than you. We work harder than y'all niggas. We cut our hair more than you niggas. Like, yo, if y'all want to
we get more girls than y'all niggas.
More girls than y'all niggas. Free. Like, if y'all really want to do this nigga preaches married prior to a fucking...
Okay, so I played enough of that. Again, I didn't play all of it because honestly, I just don't feel comfortable like repeating some of the things he said about, you know, preacher's wife. I don't feel comfortable doing that. So you can look that up on your own, you know. But that being said, I mean, some harsh things were said, and then I'm not gonna play these videos. So just I'm assuming you guys know what's going on. So basically, after that, the Fresh guy, Fresh and Fit, both of them, they challenged them to like a fight, like a boxing match, like straight on fight, which is a little odd, you know what I mean? But okay, they challenged them to a fight. I mean, you just disrespected the man, you know, you talked about his wife, his people, and then you're going to challenge them to a fight. Like, okay, who does this? But okay, that's fine. And so they accepted the fight. They said, okay. And then, like, after they accept the fight, the Fresh dude, he uploaded a video of him purchasing a firearm. Oh my goodness. So bad. This is such a bad look, because the thing about it is there is a problem with violence, you know what I'm saying, the black community. And so a lot of his followers are saying like, well, no, he already had it set up to where he was going to get the firearm. But here's the thing, when you're in a situation where all of your self-esteem, everything comes from your likes, your viewers, your, you know, your worldly accolades or whatever, everything you do has to be in the public eye. So even if, you know, he was like just going to get a gun, like, why did you post that? You have to like really think. You're in the middle of a very public and serious beef, and then to purchase a gun, and then you have the guy explaining things. It was just, man, you want to talk about cringe, man. Like, what are you doing? So he posts that, and it's like, yeah, you can say it wasn't, you know, about the beef that he was in, but I'm not a man, but I would take that as a threat. You know, I'm in the middle of a beef with you where you're asking to fight me, and then you're showing that you're buying weapons. What? But I will say this, you know what I mean? It could have been a faux pas. It could have been like a mistake. And did I say that word right? I'm not sure. Anyway, he could have fumbled and made a mistake. But either way, you did it. And so it's like, okay, you done messed up. So it's like, here is where I'm going to break this video down, because now it's like, man, this dude's got options, right? What is he going to do? Because you can't, even if you do nothing in this situation, because everyone is watching right now. Kevin Samuels, 1 million, you know, subscribers, is out here. So I'm looking at these dudes and I like to dig into their minds, like, what you gonna do? So I'm about to break down like their options, right? Because this is important, man. And like I said, like, you know, I'm not like these YouTubers. I'm not even a YouTuber. I'm just some chick saying my thoughts, and I hope that one day my sons will listen to this. But so these are just my thoughts on the situation. Okay, so you got like, couple of different paths to take on this, because it has to be addressed. It has to be. You challenged a man to fight. Okay. You purchased a weapon, and I didn't even tell you guys. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Then they went on their YouTube channel show, their live stream. They apologized to their audience, not to the men that they insulted, but to their audience. The proper thing to do would be to go to them outside of, the eye of the public, and if you mean it, apologize sincerely for the things you said, apologize, and then go out in public and then tell everybody, we apologize, we were wrong. That is what you're supposed to do in this situation. And so the first option is the perfect way, right? Obviously my channel is, and I obviously believe in Christ, and so he talks about you're supposed to turn the other cheek. You know what I mean? If someone, I'm about to totally mess the scripture up, but you guys know what I'm talking about, where if someone does you wrong, then, I'm going to pause it because I want to make sure I get this right. Hold on. Okay, I had to look this up to make sure I get it right. So this is in Matthew chapter 18, verse 21. It says, "Then Peter came to him and said, 'Lord, how often shall my brother sin against me and I forgive him? Up to 7 times? And Jesus said to him, I do not say to you up to 7 times, but up to 70 times 7. Therefore, the kingdom of heaven is like a certain..." Anyway, sorry, that's enough of that. So, the perfect, righteous, Christ right, perfect way is to forgive, turn the other cheek. When Jesus' enemies were upon him, he pretty much, for our sins, he took the lashes, he was crucified, he let it happen. So the perfect way is to turn the other cheek, forgive. So I'm not even gonna, deny that. That's the perfect way. Okay, so we've said that now, because it's okay, but now then there is the fact that we are here on earth, you know what I'm saying, and we are human, we are wrapped in flesh, we are sinful. So let's look at the next option. Okay, the next option is either Fresh can fight like he said he was and keep his word, and he could win. He could win the fight against Preach. He could win the fight. And that seems like a good outcome. It'll be good, but then you don't deal with the issue of humility that they're struggling with, right? If he wins the fight, because he's like, see, I won. And so I promise the way life works is that issue with the humbling of yourself will return. He could fight Preach, and Fresh may lose the fight, which means he gets a butt whooping. And so I don't know how a man's mind is, but I'm imagining that Fresh is struggling with this one. I put the invitation out. I didn't think he was going to accept it. He did. And if I fight this dude, he may whoop my butt. Ooh, that's a tough one. Not only are you going to get a butt whooping, but then it's like, you got to deal with the humility of that. So, and I don't know, but possibly is that why he bought the weapons? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But the threat of a butt whooping is a scary thing. I'm telling you. Like, here we go with another story. Like, I'm glad that I don't have a big following, because I can kind of go on here and blabber and ramble on, and who the heck cares? No one cares. No one's listening to me anyway. Some of you are, and I appreciate you guys, but I know people aren't really listening to me like that. I have a very small channel. But I remember when I was in 4th grade, and there was this girl by the name of Shireen, and she was like the school bully. And when I was in 4th grade, I was a bony stick, scared, shaken, scared of my own shadow. I was not a threat to anybody. For whatever reason, Shireen wanted to fight me. And some girls have that I want to fight name, like that one girl. I can't remember her name. I couldn't remember her name, so no worries. But anyway, if this man fights and he loses the fight, okay, he's going to have to humble himself. And that's very difficult for, a lot of people to humble themselves and say, okay, I lost the fight, I apologize, shake hands, I apologize for disrespecting your wife, your people, these things. But either way, in either of the best, case scenarios, he's going to have to humble himself. It has to happen. And so this is a lesson for all of us. We're going to go through things in life where we're going to be tried, tested, and humbled. And if we don't pass the test, I promise you, you're going to have to go through it again. So the last option, and in my opinion, this is the worst option, and hope is looking like this is the one he's choosing. It is to do nothing. Okay? He insulted this man, his people, his wife, challenged them to a fight, he accepted the fight. You back down and, give an apology, not to them as a man face to face, but to your audience, and then you post a video of you purchasing a firearm. This is terrible. You cannot ignore this. So the worst thing that he could do is to do nothing. And some of you are going to think, okay, well, if he does nothing, his viewers are going to go down, and they have been like 20, 30,000 viewers. But the reality of it is there are a plethora of beta male simps that would follow, guys like these that haven't quite reached their maturity level yet. So he'll continue to grow and go and push this down and act like nothing happened and continue to do podcasts. But here's one thing I know, because I am an older woman. I know about this thing called being able to sleep at night, and that is a mother. When something like this happens to you, in his case as a man, you back down like this, your subconscious is not going to let this just slip away. You have to be able to sleep at night. There's a lot of people that are on all kind of sleep medications. They can't sleep. They got insomnia. They stressed out. Heart attacks because they're stressed out. Because situations like these, when you do not do the right thing and you think you can avoid it. So far it's looking like they're going on with their channel. They're not, they did their apology to their their followers, subscribers, and they're gonna still do fine and make money. But at night, I promise you, I'm telling you, I've lived long enough to know them thoughts are gonna come up. Man, I challenged a man to a fight. I backed down. I didn't face him. You didn't do it. And so the way our God works is, if he loves you, he's going to keep challenging you. So this is going to come up for him. So that's not a win. And so a lot of people watching this will look like, wow, he didn't even confront this and he's going on and he's fine. But no. He's got to go to sleep at night. So that's why I'm really talking about this, because this is major life lessons, because we all go through these things. In his particular situation, it seems like his battle is about, maturity, number one, humility. And here we're seeing it in live action. Your struggle or battle may be something else, but that at the end of the day, it has to be dealt with. And sometimes you have to be humble. I was telling the story, and I couldn't remember the girl's name, but man, I was fourth, fifth grade. She wanted to fight me. I was scared to death. Now, mind you, I'm a little girl, you know what I'm saying? So what was she going to do to me? Nothing at all. But even as a little girl, I understood that I had to face this. This person is challenging me. You know, and if we already established the perfect way is to turn the other cheek, but we are on this earth, and it was like this woman's, this little girl, is challenging me. What am I gonna do? I was scared to death. I don't fight. I had to face her, just like this man has to do. You have to face what you've done. And so I did, and it so happened I got up and I was like, man, I'm about to take this butt whooping, and an adult came in and stopped it, thank goodness. But I had to, even as a little 4th grade girl, I had to face this situation. And so I'm not a person about violence either. FYI, my 2 boys, they've been doing Taekwondo for about 4 years now. My boys are young, and they have they're a purple belt and a blue belt. So I believe God gives us a right to defend ourselves. I really, truly believe that. I don't believe in being aggressive or being the aggressor or starting fights, but I believe that we are allowed to, defend ourselves. And this is a situation like that where it's not perfect, but I do believe that Preach has a right to defend himself once he's, offered this. So what is this guy going to do? Do nothing? You think that you're going to do nothing? It's not going to come back on you. No, you got to sleep at night. And so for the rest of your life, you got to think about this. And, it makes me think of Simone Biles too, because as women, we're not, we're not exempt. That's what I'm saying. This world is crazy. So you had this situation with Simone Biles where she backed out in the Olympics, and, some people are calling her a hero. I don't, whether you think she's a hero or you think she's a quitter is regardless. I'm thinking about at night when you're alone by yourselves, and just like this fresh guy, she's got to think, man, I was at the Olympics and I backed down. She's got to live with these decisions. And so that's why I really like what's happening right now. Amongst, black people, we're creating a divide, a dichotomy where, we're talking about the real versus the fake. And I like, Kevin Samuels, and, I got on through Poor Man's Podcast, and I like Abba and Preach, even though I don't necessarily agree with everything. It's a certain amount of integrity that I have to respect, and we're making a divide. We're not all the same. No, we're not all perfect. On this side, there's no perfection here by all means. However, we strive for what is right, and I think that is what's important. And so I just wanted to present you all this story because I just thought it was so important. We're only, 13% of the population, However, we're a mighty voice. And if they keep us in a position where we think that we are victims and this sort of thing, they can control us. They put a narrative out for us, this whole, gangster lifestyle, this glitz glam, all this fakeness and falseness, and we fell for it, unfortunately, because sometimes we can be a bit naive. But I like this renaissance, this new awakening, because the real is now being divided from the fake. It's time for us as a people to wake up. They have been fooling us for so long, and I know some of you will look at the YouTube channel Fresh and Fit, and it looks so good and glamorous and money and women and fame and Miami, and it looks so good, but the reality is the majority of us are just regular normal people trying to survive in this life. And I cannot believe that my people, who I am, are about that fake surface life. The powers that be have been using the black community for a long time because we can be very ignorant. So before I head out here, I'm going to show a little clip. It's It's from a movie in, I think it was done in 1932, 1934. But anyway, it's called Gone with the Wind. And this clip was in that movie. And even back then, you know what I mean? The people that made this movie knew that black people were being deceived. And it's time for us to wake up and stop being used. We are not this trash image. Just twerking, gangster rap, bling, all this type of stuff. This is not who we are. And the ones of us that stands up against that and what's right, we're not the coons. Right? Think about, you guys remember Chris Rock and his little comedy sketch? I don't want to say the words, but there's a difference. We are not we're not just one people. Okay? We're different people. We're individuals. We're not all the same. Some of us do have standards. We have principles. You know, and we are now kind of separating, and that's okay, because every community has their ones. You know, white people, they call them trailer park trash. Like, everyone has their community of people that aren't up to par, and it's time that we kind of, you know, start to separate. So anyway, well, let me add this really quick. When we do fall along with this idea that we are victims and, you know, this fake, you know, ness and things like that, a lot of groups can come in and take advantage of this, kind of like Black Lives Matter. You know, they cause a lot of devastation in our communities because they preyed upon that idea, you know, that, you know, we are lesser than and things like that. So what I'm saying is, I think it's time for the ones of us that are not about this poor image to really wake up, stand up, and say what is right. So I'm going to, before I head out, well, you'll see this last video. It's called 40 Acres and a Mule from the movie Gone with the Wind. Thank you for even listening to me. I mean, my goodness, thank you guys. I appreciate your support. Like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel. This is Red Femme Diaries. See you next time. Goodbye.
Fresh and green. Right off the farm. Hey, what you doing tonight? Today? That's one of those Georgia peaches. Nothing like that in Ohio. You know what we're going to do? What? We're going to give every last one of you 40 acres and a mule. And a mule? 40 acres and a mule. Gee, because we're your friends. And you're going to become voters. And you're going to vote like your friends do.